2030 तक द्विपक्षीय व्यापार को 2 गुना करने के लक्ष्य की ओर तेजी से अग्रसर है।
I am sure this is going to be the beginning of a very, very fruitful cooperation. I'm sure that for those Indian companies interested in Greece, you will find lots of interesting business opportunities.
We'll have to battle bit by bit to create groups which will push for change. I would say, on many issues, you will get different combinations of countries.
Hello and welcome to Global Eye. We're at the Raisina Dialogue, where there have been intense discussions on the global geopolitical situation and how the world views India. Joining us right now is a very special guest, Chairman of Global Council, former UK Cabinet Minister and senior Labour Party leader from the UK, Peter Mandelson, a Member of Parliament from the UK as well. Lord Mandelson, thank you so much for joining us on the programme. Let me begin by asking you, you've been hearing about geopolitics, discussions on India, US, China, Iran, Middle East, Israel for the last few days. What's the mood on India currently?
The mood on India is that India has become a player geopolitically, both in the relationship that you mentioned between the United States and China, but in other difficult regions and parts of the world where more countries are being played into those situations to exercise some influence. And if you think of the Middle East, for example, which is a chronic situation at the moment, India is playing a role, talking to the Iranians, being played in by the United States and others. This is a completely new role for India. India is building out, it's stepping up, it has a very confident look and feel to the rest of the world, a very professionally conducted foreign policy against, of course, the backcloth of a very large and strong economy.
I'd like to ask you about what's happening back home, the election, which is going to happen in a few months from now.
In my home.
In your home. I'd like to ask you, where do things stand? It seems at this juncture the Labour Party is the favourite. It is set to win the election. What is the alternate plan that the Labour Party would like to bring to the people of the UK right now?
We have to bring, first and foremost, financial and political stability. We have been in turmoil now for the last 6-7 years. We haven't known. We've had 5 different prime ministers, 5 different administrations, ministers following one after another, sometimes not even in post for more than a year. Our financial, public finances have been dashed by the chaos that we've seen, not just the chaos that everyone else has had, like COVID and of course the Ukraine energy shock, but self-made chaos from governments taking making colossal misjudgments. So stability, financial, political stability. Secondly, making it absolutely clear that we want investment. Our economy, the British economy, will only lift itself out of the quagmire it's in with serious amounts of private investment. And we know that we're going to be competing on the international stage for private capital, private investment, which we want to bring to our country. But that means that the total business environment in Britain has got to be pro-business and pro-investment. When people look at tax or regulation, when they look at the planning system and the changes we're going to be making there, when investment in our infrastructure and skills needs to resume on a really substantial scale now. This is the total business environment, which we've got to engineer in our country, and we're going to turn that page. We're going to start, a new chapter in our economic story. But first of all, the public have got to vote, and I hope they'll be voting for change in our country, because that's what we need.
Lord Mandelson, when one reads your profile, in the 80s, you were one of those who were tasked with modernizing the Labour Party.
And the 90s.
In the 90s. What is the kind of agenda that you would like to pursue with countries like India and China? What will be the policy towards India and China in case the Labour comes to power?
What we want to do in the Labour Party, and what you'll see a Labour government doing, is identifying key strategic partners, countries with whom we have values and a shared international outlook in common, who are drivers of business and who want to create business partnerships. Now, India is the prime example in the entire Indo-Pacific region of the type of country and the specific country with whom we want to form a strong strategic partnership. So I hope there will be some sort of free trade agreement agreed between our governments. But that's a starting point. It's a platform, a foundation on which to build very much more collaboration, business and industrial collaboration and investment. And that's what we want to do. Of course there are geopolitical interests that we share. Of course there are major technology, defence and security areas of cooperation between the United Kingdom and India. Of course we share a lot of information and intelligence through the Quad. All these are important, they're an essential foundation, but what we now want to do is to take off in an industrial and economic direction with a great deal of shared technological know-how and close working, and that's what we're determined to do.
Right. Now, India and UK are negotiating an FTA. In fact, as we speak, Indian team has flown to the UK to try and seal the deal as soon as possible, because we're going to be heading into elections very soon, and once the model code of conduct sets in, you can't do anything for the next few months. Is the Labour Party fine with the deal in the present form? Because India wants to have more services exports to the UK. And will you review the terms of the deal if signed right now?
We are very committed to the deal. We're very committed to forging this agreement. But we regard it as a starting point, not an end point. It's a framework within which we can build a stronger, collaborative business, industrial and technological partnership between our two countries. And that's what we're going to do. So let's get the agreement done. It's a very good starting point, and then build on it in the future.
If the Labour Party wins the election, de-risking from China, closer ties with India, will that be a priority?
It will be a priority. We've already started to pave the way for that. You've seen the number of visits in India. You've seen the Shadow Foreign Secretary recently, the Shadow Business Secretary. You've got the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party here with me in Delhi this week. We're not turning our backs on others in the world, but we are, however, deciding where we want to put our money, our beans, our counters on, which are the countries with whom we think we can form a more intense relationship. And India is one of the two or three that we're putting our money on.
Right. Thank you very much, sir, for speaking to us. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.